18 years was a long time to be forgotten. Elara moved silently through the grand corridors of the Whitmore Estate, a feather duster in one hand and a bucket in the other. Her uniform was crisp, her posture perfect, her face unreadable. She was just another maid among the rotating staff employed by the estate, owned by the aristocratic Whitmore family, rich in history, land, and secrets. But Elara was no ordinary maid, not by a long shot. She had come here with a purpose, tucked behind her polite smile and quick hands. She knew every creak of the staircase, every crack in the marble floor, because she had once lived here. She had been born in this house. She was the daughter of Lady Rosalind Whitmore, and no one knew. 18 years ago, a scandal had rocked the Whitmore name. Lady Rosalind, the reclusive but beautiful matriarch of the family, had given birth to a daughter out of wedlock. The father was rumored to be a gardener, or a painter, or maybe even a visiting French ambassador. The family had kept it quiet, sending Rosalind away for the final months of her pregnancy to a private estate on the coast. Elara was born in silence, in shadow, and before she could even cry her first cry in the halls of her legacy, she was taken. Some said it was Rosalind's decision. Others whispered it had been her parents, the Duke and Duchess, who made the child disappear. No one ever spoke of her again. The Whitmore had no children officially. Only Lady Rosalind mourned, quietly, endlessly. But she never searched, and that Elara had never forgiven. Elara had grown up in foster homes, passed from one broken place to another. She had questions, always, about her origins, her blood, the identity she felt vibrating just beneath her skin. Her only clue was a pendant, an old ivory locket carved with a Whitmore crest. It had been slipped into her swaddle when she was abandoned. She had kept it all these years, and when she was old enough, she began her search. Eventually, she found them, the Whitmores, wealthy, scandal-ridden, with their cold mansion on the cliffs of Devonshire. She watched them from afar, read about them, learn their habits, their hiring schedules, their vulnerabilities. Then she applied to be a maid, under a false name, Elara had. They hired her without a second glance. It was Rosalind who noticed first, not consciously. But on the third day, as Elara quietly dusted the library shelf, the older woman stared a second too long. Her eyes lingered on the girl's jawline, her hands, the way she titled her head like. No, it was impossible. Still, the resemblance tugged at something long buried. One afternoon, Elara passed Rosalind in the rose garden. The older woman was pruning dead blossoms. Her long gloves sparkled with soil. "You're the new girl?" Rosalind asked. "Yes, ma'am." "Where are you from?" "Around," Elara said with a soft smile. "I don't really have a home." Something shifted in Rosalind's expression, a flicker of memory. "What's your name again?" "Elara." Rosalind dropped the pruning shears. It was foolish, really, to wear it around her neck. But Elara couldn't help it. She needed to feel it against her skin, the only thing that tied her to the life she had been denied. She forgot to tuck it in one day. She bent over to wipe down the dining table, and the locket fell forward. A small clink of ivory against wood. Rosalind, seated across the room reading, saw it. She froze. "Where did you get that?" Her voice was thin, hollow. Elara strengthened. Their eyes met, sharp blue meeting sharp blue. It was with me when I was abandoned, Elara said softly. I never knew what left it, only that it had your family crest on it. Rosalind stood slowly, trembling. Let me see it. Elara unclasped it and placed it into her mother's hand. Rosalind opened it. Inside, a faded scrap of paper, just a name. Elara. She whispered, her knees buckling as years of grief crashed over her. You're my daughter. The days that followed were chaos. The staff buzzed with rumors. The head butler was beside himself. Lord Whitmore, Rosalind's cold and calculating brother-in-law, demanded a DNA test. Elara agreed without hesitation. It came back conclusive. 98.7% match. Rosalind Whitmore had a daughter, and she had lived 18 years as a ghost, cleaning the silverware of her birthright. Elara didn't want money. She didn't even want the estate, though by all right she could now claim it. Rosalind had no other heirs. What Elara wanted was the truth. Why didn't you look for me? She asked her mother one evening, the wind howling outside the parlor windows. I tried, Rosalind whispered, but my parents had power, lawyers, threats. They told me you had died during childbirth. I mourned you every day. I never remarried, never had more children. I waited. I felt you were still out there, but I was too afraid to hope. Elara didn't respond right away. Then you were right to hope. With Rosalind's public acknowledgement came the backlash. The press devoured the story. Lost Whitmore heiress returns as maid. The tabloids speculated. The public was divided, but Elara stood tall through it all. She remained living in the estate, not in the servants' quarters, but in the east wing where her nursery once stood, now restored to its former elegance. She attended charity galas with her mother, who bloomed again for the first time in decades, and slowly they began to know each other. Both women broken once, but now rebuilding. Years later, Elara opened her own foundation, Dust and Blood, a charity devoted to supporting abandoned children and helping them reconnect with their roots. She never forgot the sting of being cast aside, but she had turned it into something beautiful. Just like the house she once cleaned, now hers by blood and by choice. And every morning, she still polished one corner of the parlor table, not because she had to, but to remember where she came from. Hope you're inspired. Subscribe for more.